Since the invention of the first synthetic plastic in 1907, plastic production has increased explosively, from 2 million tons in 1950 to over 390 million tons in 2021. Shockingly, over half the total amount of plastic ever produced has been made since the year 2000. Thousands of chemicals are used in the manufacture of plastics, including several toxic chemicals that are harmful to human health.
A leak of these or other toxic chemicals from plastic production plants into the environment can have catastrophic consequences on both human and ecological health. In 1956, Minamata disease became the first disease officially recognized as a consequence of industrial pollution, more specifically, wastewater pollution from the local Chizocorp plastic plant.
Minamata disease was first reported in 1956 around Minamata Bay in the Kumamoto Prefecture, and again in 1965 in the Agano River Basin in the Niigata Prefecture of Japan. This disease provoked worldwide concern regarding industrial pollution of seawater and contributed to the fuel of the environmental protection movement.
One of Minamata's biggest employers was Nippon Chiso Hiro Company, a chemical company that mainly produced chemical fertilizers, carbide, hard plastics, and vinyl chloride. In 1932, Chiso began producing acetaldehyde, which is the chemical used to manufacture plastics, drugs, and other industrial products. Inorganic mercury was used as a catalyst, producing methyl mercury as a waste product, which was discharged from the factory into Minamata Bay, contaminating the fish and shellfish. This led to the infection of local inhabitants with Minamata disease, as fish and shellfish comprised a large portion of the local diet.
Minamata disease is a disorder of the central nervous system and results from methylmercury poisoning. Signs or symptoms of the disease include sensory disturbance in the limbs, ataxia, visual and hearing problems. The severity of the disease depends on the individual, but in the extreme cases, people have experienced convulsions, lost consciousness, and died. Minamata disease can be passed to unborn infants through the umbilical cord. However, it cannot be passed through air, food, or inherited genetically. Animals can also develop the disease, as cats first showed signs of Minamata disease for up to 3 decades before it was recognized in humans. Unfortunately, there is no way to repair brain damage done by the disease, and currently there is no cure. The only treatment is to mitigate symptoms temporarily.
The effluent containing methylmercury of the Nippon Chiso Hiro Company factory was not regulated until 1969. In 1970, Japan enacted the Water Pollution Control Law, which enforced discharge control of all effluent containing toxic substances in Japan. However, there was still a significant concentration of methylmercury in the bottom sediment of Minamata Bay, so from 1974 to 1990, Kumamoto Prefecture removed a total of 1,500,000 cubic meters of bottom sediment, which contained 25 ppm of total mercury and costed an amount equivalent of 300 million USD, of which Chiso paid 2/3. Additionally, dividing nets were placed around the bay to prevent the fishing of contaminated fish and shellfish. Minamata Bay was determined to be mercury-free in July 1997, and the fishing prevention net was removed.
In the late 1950s, a Chiso employee of the name Dr. Hajime Hosokawa conducted critical research where he tested the wastewater from Chiso's pipes on cats, which produced the symptoms of Minamata disease, and consequently proved that Chiso was the source of Minamata disease. Chiso denied all allegations, and despite thousands of people protesting and demanding justice, local authorities sided with Chiso out of fear that changing Chiso's production system would result in a loss of jobs and taxes. After years of public unrest and a series of lawsuits, Chiso has been required by law to pay for portions of the environmental cleanup, compensation to the fishing industry, and to affected individuals. Victims of Minamata disease are still battling for fair compensation. In fact, just last year, a plaintiff of 128 victims went to court against the local government and Chiso Co. and reached a new compensation settlement.
While the government advertises medical examinations, finances some of the compensation, and promotes research, there are still 20,000 individuals seeking out to be designated victims, and the disease remains an important issue in the contemporary Japanese society. Despite tragic events such as the Minamata outbreak, environmental pollution continues to be a pressing yet overlooked issue around the world.